Okay, my name is Gregory McGee. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I currently live in Pittsburgh. I'm 40 years old, even though I look 12 and a half.
Where are we here exactly?
Right now, we're sitting in Nancy's Revival Diner in Wilkinsburg, PA, 616 South Avenue. It's been around since the 70s. It's on its third set of owners, and I've worked here about 4 months.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm actually feeling really good. It's been a really good day, really good energy. I love my coworkers. We just sit and listen to music and share ideas and thoughts, and I met this incredible lady today that I think is doing an amazing project, and it really just had me intrigued.
So that's why you accepted to answer my question?
Yes.
So let's start with this. Who are you, Gregory?
Who am I? I'm one of 7 kids, raised on the south side of Chicago. 6 boys, 1 girl. Lucky number 3 right here. I don't know. Other than that, I've just worked since I was about 12 years old. I had a mom that made sure that I read at every meal. She wanted me to be more than where I came from. She wanted me to be more than my environment. And I'm grateful for that now, because everything I felt like she taught me, I don't know, helps me walk this world today.
Want to share a bit of your story with us?
I don't even know where to start, I guess. My life, I would say, began, I was number 3 to be born by my mom. My real father thought that was one too many, so he left. My mom's amazing. She pulled it together. She raised us on her own. And I've just always worked. I've always just wanted to work and take care of my mom. I started working at 12, gave my mom half my paychecks just to take care of my family. That's what I've always done. You know, we're all we got, especially in this society. It's, I don't know, maybe family's disappearing, but I don't know, that's just something I always hold on to. It's kind of like everything that I do in my everyday is to just do her proud.
How do you make her proud?
I think by being kind, not losing sight of that, even in this world where I think people take advantage of kindness. The trick is to not lose that. It's to not lose heart, to not lose that fire that's right here. And it's hard, it wavers every day. I think even now with American society today, with Donald Trump in office, this has been a rough, I think he's been in term, 3 years now? It's been one of the worst 3 years of my life, and I'm 40. I've seen politicians since I was a little boy, from Harold Washington. If you ever look up Harold Washington in Chicago, he was this great mayor, to Obama, who's also from Chicago. He's someone I've wanted to see my entire life. I feel like I was chastised for speaking proper growing up. So to turn about, I think 35, 36 when he got elected, and to see that man represented, I think, what my mom wanted us to be, I love that. It's like a dream come true. I'm his biggest fan, but I'm also his biggest critic, because I feel like that was everything that was instilled to me to be when I was raised. So I'd love seeing that embodied in one person. And I don't expect him to be perfect, but I love that. And I guess I wanted you guys to know, I've just always been aware. I've always just paid attention, because it matters. My mom's called me a student activist since I was about in 8th grade. I wrote a letter to the principal because I felt like they only asked the boys to do heavy lifting, but they would ask the girls to grade papers. And I'm a gentleman. I don't say that in the terms of I think women should carry heavy stuff. I just felt like it was kind of saying that men were only allowed to do grunt work, and I didn't like that. I felt like we should develop our brains as well. So I got a petition in 8th grade, got everyone in my school to sign it, sent it to my principal, and they started a club there called Boys to Men. So it's just focusing on those inner city males that may not get that proper attention. So I love that. That's a big part of who I am.
What does it mean to be American?
That's hard. That's very hard. For me, I would say I've never been proud to be American.
No.
My entire life, no, I don't. I think we matter here. I think we helped build this nation. I call it the walking down the street theory that I have. It's called the around the corner theory. It's that if 2 people are walking and someone comes around the corner, if it's a white male, the first thing that you process about him is that he's a male, and then that's it. But I feel like as a black person, when I come around that corner, the first thing you realize is you compute that he's black, then you compute that he's a male, and then you compute that he's a threat or not, and then I'm human. It's that's the 4th thought when you see me. That scares me. I think that's a horrible thing. But I've always just been aware of that. My mom calls it the pulled over on the side of the road theory. We always grew up with poor cars, and we always got broke down cars. People of every color has helped us. We had white people stop and help us. We had black people stop and help us. So my mom said good people come in every flavor, good or bad, That's what you focus on, a good soul or a bad soul. It's not so much of this, So for me, I would say when you say what it is to be American, I don't know. I feel like it's the fifth thing I get to be, so to say. I'm all these other things before I'm human. Human should be the first thing that I am. But I can't say I've ever really experienced that here, you know? I don't carry that in my heart, though. I try to give everyone a fair chance, whoever I meet. I just want to know if you have a good soul or not. I think that's what matters to me.
Do you plan to vote next year?
Every year, ever since I've been allowed to, since I was 18, I've voted, because it matters. It has to. Whether that's a game or it's a scheme, the way that it's set up with the electoral college, your voice still matters. You have to have a say, whether it's on a local level, in your community, on a national level, all that matters. I think more and more what you do in your everyday, I think that's the real political arena.
What brings you joy, Gregory? What brings you joy?
Oh, I feel like when people see me for who I am, when I'm not those things that society says that I am first, when someone actually sees me, those human parts of me, you know? I'm an artist and I hate labels, but I love to express myself. I play guitar, I love to paint, I love to act. I think those are the things, you know? Like I was saying earlier about around the corner, I want you to see my spirit first, more than anything else. All those other things should be after the fact. It should be beautiful. We just hired a girl that's Italian, and in my experience, it's like people outside of America, I feel like they get to see us. I really do. The way that she talks to me, it's like I'm a human being, and I love that. I can't say I've experienced that here in the States. In America, it's you'll come across a white girl that wants to touch your hair, and it's so rude, you know? If it was just beauty to see the texture of it, that's one thing, but it's that divide we have of each other that separates us, and it should be beautiful, it should be inquisitive, but in fact it's not, it's the opposite. So I love when you bump across just other good people. You know, that means more to me than anything. That brings me joy. To either help someone or to be seen. Or to connect, to show a depth that you may not have expected from someone like me because of a stereotype or a false idea. That means more to me than anything. That brings me joy. It really does. To help people and to be seen, I would say. Do my mom proud, 3.
Yeah. What is your biggest fear?
Disappointing my mom. I know how much work she put in to raise 7 kids by herself, you know? Disappointing her, not living up to my potential. What scares me is to live in fear, is to not be yourself, or is to let the ideas of other people box you into who they think you should be. That's not living. My other biggest fear I would say is, I think I've learned to survive my entire life, and I think that's a really rare skill set, and I love that about who I am. But I think somewhere around my 30s I realized that I'm not thriving and I'm not living. There's nothing wrong with surviving, but when you get to live, that's my biggest fear, is that I'm not living, and I'm just getting day to day. I want to know life. I want to know sunsets in different countries, you know? I want to hear ideas from different countries. I don't want this to define me, you know? My soul is global. It isn't just this continent, you know? To be limited scares me. To be misunderstood scares me. I've gotten it all. I've had people that read me from a distance that I just automatically have to be gay. I'm not. I've gotten that I'm a girl. I just look like my mom. That's it, and that's an honor. But that used to make me hide from people. I used to stay indoors, and that's ridiculous. That's no way to live. You know what I mean? So to me, it's turning those positives, those negatives into positives. I think it's a big deal. That's something I just really feel like I learn every day.
What are you proud of?
When I write something about my childhood that I feel it's so dark, and for someone to read it that didn't come from that background, and it connects to them or it affects them, that's incredible to me. That's amazing to me. Because people shouldn't, right? There's all these things that separate us. So if you can reach across that with just your words, or maybe a painting or a song, like I play guitar, anything that connects us, I adore. That's incredible to me. That's like the most amazing thing in the world.
So you are proud of?
I would say I'm proud of connecting to people, connecting in places that you wouldn't expect it, because it just seems so rare. And I think we're just so afraid of each other. I think everyone's afraid of each other, and it's so ridiculous. This life on this planet is so diverse, and so are the people, but like we're the only group that makes it a bad thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's incredible. I love that.
Are you in tune with your emotions?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I'm quite proud of it. I think it's one of my biggest strengths, but I also think it's a curse, because I think sensitivity is a strength. But with, macho BS guys, it's a negative. I don't believe in that. I really don't. My mom said that she thinks I'm so sensitive because she cried the most when she was pregnant with me. And I think instead of that being a negative, I think it made me an empath. I think it makes me able to pick up on other people's feelings, And sometimes it's a burden because you'll take that emotions into yourself in a negative way. But for me, for the most part, it helps me connect with people. I can read it from a distance. I can see more in their eyes. I'll catch an inflection in their voice. I love my compassion. I love it. I think I get it from her. I'm part Native American, and my grandfather would speak of this thing called healing hands. So one day I was massaging my mom's feet, and she goes, "Why'd you do that just like that?" And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You rubbed it like my grandfather did. He never showed me that." So whether that's inherent DNA, things like that blow my mind. I think that's incredible. So whether that translates up through your hands or in your voice, that's me.
Do you cry sometimes?
All the time. I have no fear of that. I think you should. I think you should. I think the sooner you face those pains, the sooner you can heal. There's a silly Harry Potter quote about how Phoenix have tears of healing and pain. So I take that as a metaphor. Like, you heal if you get it out of your system. I think more people should. I don't think you should walk away on like a weeping Niagara Falls or anything, but what if more of us did? Hey, we got a lot of visitors here.
Do you believe in something?
I've never been terribly religious. I think it's the exact opposite of what it preaches. It teaches love and compassion and understanding. And most of the things in religion teach the opposite of that. Definitions, restrictions, judgment. So what I would always say, I believe in my mom. I call my mom Gaia. Her name's Angelita, but I always called her Gaia. She's my Mother Earth. I believe in her. She's not perfect, but I believe in her. We had nothing growing up, and my mom would still help anyone that asked. And that sounds ridiculous. Like, you should take care of yourself, especially in America where everyone else is being selfish. I saw that growing up. You know what I mean? Most people take it as being foolish or you're a sucker. I don't. I'd rather die knowing what I did than what I didn't do. You know what I mean? I love that. Absolutely love that. We had a guy come in today that would beg every day, and we knew it. He would hustle us every day. I couldn't help him. I feel like I've done that my entire life. I owe him nothing. But to me, it comes down to someone appreciating it. And a customer overheard it and bought this guy a meal. I thought that was incredible. And I really hope he appreciated it. I really do. Seeing little moments like that means the world. We need more of that. Everyone's not going to help everyone. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe at least they'll try in some way. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
So, what is the truth?
My coworkers are going to devour it as soon as I'm done taking photos of it.
Don't let other people define you. Don't let other people tell you who you should be and what you aren't. I love every little element of myself. Like a 64 box of crayons with a little sharpener on the back. Like, I'm just very unique and detailed. Those are all positives. No one should ever think they're better than anyone else. Don't be afraid to show you. I think I grew up with the stigma in my mind that people only saw black males as one or two things. And I hated that growing up. I hated that. It's always felt like I had some weird charge to show everyone that I was different. Fuck that. You have nothing to prove to anyone. You have nothing. You have to live for you. Maybe people aren't qualified to see all those layers and levels of you. And they don't need to. They don't have to. But don't shortchange me. Don't limit me. Don't hold me in by your limited view. You know? I think some people have layers. Some people have dimensions. And we gotta stop taking it away from each other. Who said that? James Baldwin. I knew I had to go and be more than the product of my environment. I love that quote. I love that quote. Because the way that I speak in America, people just know, oh, I grew up in the suburbs. Nope. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment with 9 people. That's 9 people with 2 bedrooms. 1 bathroom. Oh, it was crowded. We had bunk beds everywhere. My dad made half the living room my sister's room with some drywall. But it's just so funny that because my mom wanted me to be more in how I speak, that defines who I am. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People should stop assuming. You would have no idea my background. People have no idea because of the way you carry yourself, the way you speak. That's the funny part.
So I suppose you just shared your truth. What is your truth?
Maybe I'm still figuring it out. I feel like I have 101 of them that get me through the day. If you ever read Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, it's one of my favorite books. And it's just about this kid that goes on this journey about life and love and everything, and he's figuring out all these things about life. I don't know if I have one ultimate truth, you know? I have a bunch of truths. Depends on when you ask me. It depends. I'm mercurial. I feel like I'm very mercurial. I go through it. I'm very optimistic, but I have my dark days too. You know what I mean? I have my days where I don't believe in humanity and I want to give up. I think part of me is why I'm pursuing an actor is I want to show that depth. I want to show that depth that used to be a stigma in my mind of how many things that the world didn't see me as. I want to show that on film. I want to show that it's okay for a guy to cry, you know? I think too many people watch TV and they put us in those boxes. I don't want to be, who's Truman Capote? I spend my life dealing with people putting me in boxes and I'm messing up the quote, but it's pretty much that. It's like, I don't live by your boxes. I really don't.
Thank you, Gregory. Would you like to add anything before we finish the conversation?
I'm dying to see this documentary. I'm dying to see what other people said. To me, this right now was an incredible experience. I think I'm very wordy, and even now I was just sitting here like, still trying to get there. So you can have your definitions like every day, but even in this moment, I feel like I lost myself a little bit. So maybe this interview challenged me to find myself again. To everyone that watches this, that sees this, we're living in a dark time, but parts of me feel like they want us to feel that way. They want us to feel separated and to give up. Don't give up on each other. Don't, because you'll take a random moment where you'll connect with one of these people and it's the most amazing thing in the world. It really is. Don't let what speaks for us in office right now speak for the rest of us. Don't. Be more.
So can I share that on social media?
Yes, please do.
Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you, love.
For your time and your love and your trust. I can feel it. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you, Mommy.